Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for coming out and joining us with Big Stack Small Workshop. We're actually not in the workshop because you can see I got this comfortable couch behind me. It's starting to get a little cold outside, and I'm glad I mentioned that because that's going to bring me to something I have coming up. We're going to do a Leathercraft bug out bag. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff. Instead of in the shop, I'm going to get a small bag and be doing inside the house where it's a lot warmer. I don't have dedicated heat in my shop. I have a couple of radiator heaters, but they don't provide a whole lot of warmth for me. So I'm going to start doing stuff inside. See, it's warm inside. I'm already sweating a little bit. So that's going to be my next video. And I'm going to review what we had before. Before I had a bug out bag. Before I had a kit that I got off of Amazon. It was a beginner Leathercraft kit. The thing was horrible. It was bad. It had a few good things in it, but it had it had this right here. Can you guys see that? Does anyone even know what this is for in Leathercraft? I mean, I know there's like stitching spacers, but these are like long, sharp needles. See if I can get it to focus on it a little bit. Yeah, it was kind of weird to have that, but it was some kind of thing in some kind of overseas leather kit. So I'm going to kind of review that, and then I'm going to go into what I consider like my best of the best. This is going to be like the perfect thing for someone that's just getting started in Leathercraft. And I got the entire thing, the entire bag full of stuff. I got it from Harbor Freight, which is good news because you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. I might say that this isn't my favorite thing. I'd replace it with something else, but I'm definitely going to tell you that you can get everything in this bag at Harbor Freight, and then we could add some stuff to it later on. But like I said, if you're just joining us, I am inside my house now because inside the shop, it is way too cold for me outside. I definitely like the hot weather. I'd rather have it 90 degrees outside than I would have it like 45 degrees. If that's crazy or not, you call me crazy. I like it warm, but it's definitely warm inside the house. So thanks for coming out. We're going to answer some questions that we had. We did have a video. It was called these. Let me get the name of the video right. It was I just wasted my money on these Leathercraft tools, and there was a punch set that I reviewed. It was there was 4 of them. And 2 of them stood out. One of them really stood out. Another one stood out just because it had some larger sizes. And a couple of them were just straight garbage, man. It was bad. So we're going to answer the questions from that because in that video, I asked people to ask a question. I said, if you got any questions for me, please ask. And then everyone that asked me a question, I'm going to go through them. And my favorite question on December the 5th, which is today, I'm going to announce the winner of that. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and start with some of the questions. Ross Gunther asked me, and there was another person, I know I'll find it later on. Someone asked me about my mallet, the mallet that I have. Specifically, how did I choose my mallet? Well, it was the mallet I already had in my shop. I had done woodworking before, and I used that mallet. I actually got it right here, and it's got 2 heads on it. It's a non-mooring hammer, non-mooring mallet, and this side takes the impact, and it doesn't mushroom. If you have a metal hammer and you hit on something, eventually you're going to keep hitting on it, and the top's going to mushroom over, and it's going to be kind of a dangerous tool to use then because your mallet can slip off of it and hit your hand. So you definitely want to go with a non-mooring hammer. They do have the ones that are like kind of the carver's mallets, shaped where it's kind of round at the top and wide. So instead of like this round, it's going to be like that, and it's kind of thick. So it goes like that. You can use those if you want. I personally don't have a lot of experience using those, but definitely want to. Let me see if I can hop in on this call or on this chat real quick. Go home and see if it says live chat. This is my first time doing a live chat, guys. So I appreciate your patience on it. Oh, there we go. So let's go in here. Let's see if there's any questions. If you guys have any questions for me, definitely ask them right here. As a matter of fact, let me type in there. Ask your questions here. And I'll be more than happy to answer what I can. But I want to talk a little bit about the mallet. So You definitely don't want something metal. You want something that's going to have soft faces on it. And when I was in Harbor Freight, I did find something there. I actually liked that one. It had some good weight to it. I think it was a 1.5 pound hammer. But this is some kind of plastic, and this is some kind of rubber, so you can kind of choose. But I used this for a while in my wood shop. For a while, a long time. I've probably had this 20 years. And it was just a natural move over to the Leathercraft. So Boris of Sweden asked about razor sharp. He said, so you have like razor sharp, and then you have durable. And how do you decide which one you're going to use? How do you find the balance between them? And what I've always done is razor sharp's good, and I think he's talking about the steepness out of an angle. So you might have an angle that's like this, and then you go to a steeper angle like that, but this top part is a little bit more brittle, so it has a tendency to break more. I think using good steel is definitely one of those things. When you buy nicer tools, they do have good steel. You can get that angle, but there's recommended angles for everything. And really what I like to do is something called a micro bevel. And see if I just had a pen up here. Let me grab a pen real quick, guys, and I'll show you what I mean by a micro bevel. I've done it in... So we'll take this black marker right here, and we'll do a micro bevel. So if this, I'm going to draw it right here. If this is your point right there, this has to be a straight line. So straight down, and then you have the edge come off of it and come down. So this is going to be your chisel. Actually, let's do this. Let's draw it a little bit thinner. These are going to be our two lines right here. We're going to go straight down, and another one straight down, a steeper angle like that. So that's a regular bevel that you might have on something. I just take it, I do a micro bevel. What I do is I chop it like that. So then when I need to go sharpen it, I just hit this real quick. I don't have to sharpen this whole edge. I just sharpen this right here. I've done it in chisels and turning tools for a long time. But that micro bevel is nice because you can go back and just hit it real quick again. Instead of sharpening this whole side, you just touch it to your sharpening stone or your sharpening wheel, and that's how you do it. So I think that's what I prefer to do when it comes to finding the durability of sharpness. You could just hit it real quick, sharpen it up, and when you hit it real quick and you sharpen it up like that, you end up with something that you can repeatedly do, which is a really nice thing. The Penguin Gentleman. I'm picking my favorites. If you're just joining us right now, we talked about my next upcoming video. It's going to be the leather bug out bag. And basically, it's getting colder outside, so I want to come inside and do some more work inside. I'm going to take like essential tools with me, put them in this bag. What's nice about this bag is anywhere you go, you can take it with you. I go to a cabin every year in the summer for a week, and sometimes a couple of times during the year. I can take this bag with me and do that while I'm camping, which is a really, really cool thing. I'm answering questions from my last video that I had. And howdy from Virginia, the Wood Burning Warrior. Hey, how you doing, Wood Burning Warrior? I'm also from Virginia, so definitely I like to spend time up in the mountains up there, and that's where I take my Leathercraft. But it'd be nice to have a dedicated bag that I can just grab and go with me instead of having to pack all my stuff up in addition to my other stuff. Is there anyone else that wants to give a shout out there? Anyone else that wants to say where they're from? Give a shout out. So, Wood Burning Warriors from Virginia. I'm also from Virginia. Is there anyone else out there? Maybe from Virginia or the East Coast, or maybe not even in the U.S., wherever you are. I just got my leather working machine 2 days ago. What kind of leather work machine did you get, Wood Burning Warrior? Thrifting Cowboy. What's going on, Thrifting? I think your name's on my list, Thrifting Cowboy. As one of the people, one of the questions I want to read. Sailrite. Nice, man. So you got the sewing machine. That's great. Thrifting Cowboy, thanks for coming back in. Wood Burning Warrior, thank you for being here too. A woodworker who passed away 2 weeks before he passed. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that he passed, but I'm glad that you got something cool from a friend. It's always, those hand-me-downs are great, man, especially people that have been using it for a long time. It's really solid. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm trying a new microphone today, and I just want to double check that everyone can hear me. It's not echoing, or it's not like real soft or anything like that. Can everyone hear me real well? Anyone? Can you hear me? I guess you can hear me because they answered some questions, but everything's good, right? Everything's A-okay? All right. So I'm going to go back to answering questions from that video we had a couple of weeks ago. Was it a little over 3 weeks ago? About the worst tools that I wasted my money on those punches when I tested the 4 different types of punches. Penguin Gentleman asked me, what is my go-to thread size? Well, I wish I was that proficient. I do not have a go-to thread size. My thread size is exactly what's available in the craft store. Guys, I'm not this huge, serious woodworker, leather worker that has a specific kind of this and a specific kind of that. I'm just like you guys. I just want to get out there. I just want to have fun. I want to relax and enjoy myself. And I personally find leatherworking very relaxing. And I used to do a lot of woodworking, but the sawdust is rough, man, on you. So I do less of that. And besides, once you get that sawdust all in your shop, it goes all over your leatherworking tools. It goes all over your other stuff. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I don't have a thread size. I just use what's available at the hobby store. I specifically do get waxed thread because I found that I think it pulls through nice. It's got enough slipperiness on the wax to pull through, and then it seems to hold. There seems to be some friction with it, so it holds when you're putting sewing stuff together. So Mr. Old Clunker asked me, how do I hold my leatherworking while stitching? And I haven't done any projects for you guys with stitching, and if you would definitely, if you'd like to see some stitching projects, let me know. I could show you some things that we can do in the future. But yeah, if you could drop a note in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. To hold my stitching, I actually think your best idea is to glue both pieces together and exactly where your stitch is going to be, and then it should hold fairly well there. And then after that dries, after some time after I let it dry, and then I will punch it and then stitch it after I put it together. I do it kind of backwards most of the time, and I think it helps hold the piece together, and the stitching just kind of really gets that hold. And Thrifting Cowboy, definitely thumbs up on the stitching. Awesome, man. Yeah, I will definitely. Now, I've never used the machine. I know the Wood Burning Warrior, you have a machine out there. I have never used. I looked at the little hand crank machine that they have, the Chinese hand crank that was the exact replica of the old Singer. I didn't get that. I kind of debated it, and I was like, I'm just doing hand stitching for now. Someone asked me to make a stitching pony video, and one thing, there's so many stitching pony videos out there. I really don't want to do one unless it's different. And if it's different than everyone else's stitching pony, then that's great. And what I'm thinking about is, so I'll do all my stuff in my workshop except my stitching. I typically do my stitching indoors. I sit inside, watch TV, maybe watch other people's YouTubes. I might watch some other streaming service, and I'll just sit, or a football game, and I'll just sit there and watch TV and stitch. So maybe I'll do some kind of stitching pony that I can like kind of set under my legs or set under my feet and hold it in place and stitch like that. Would you guys think something like that would be cool? A stitching pony like that? Let me know, definitely. And so Mr. Old Clunker, that's really, I think, the best way to hold your stuff while you're stitching it, to keep it from coming apart, keep your stitches nice and tight. I use that wax thread. And then I personally use rubber cement. So I'll spread a little rubber cement on both places where the sides are going to be glued together. Put it together and then pull it apart. You'll notice it looks like almost like stringy, and then it'll break apart, and then let it dry for like a minute or two, and then put it back together. And that's how you get the good hold on the rubber cement. So that would definitely be how I do it. I use that rubber cement to hold it, then I punch it, then I stitch it. So Iron Baker, he was the other one. Iron Baker asked me about the hammers too. He said, should he use a leather hammer, a round hammer, or one like I have to start working. I mean, you can start with this. I've done tooling. I've done hand tooling with this. I've used it for punches. The only thing I haven't used it for is I haven't hammered down my stitches with it, because you could probably see it's a little marked up from using on my tools. When you're hammering down your stitches, you want something smooth. And last year, my Mrs. Stacks got me a C.S. Osborne stitching hammer. She's like, "What do you want?" I was like, "This stitching hammer is really cool, and it was kind of cheap on Amazon." So I use that to tap down my stitches and stuff when I glue it together. But yeah, you can use any of these. I mean, the leather hammer, has anyone out there used the rawhide hammer? I've never used one. I've seen videos where people have made them. I've seen some people use them, but it's not that frequent. Most people use like the mallet style, like it looks like a little club with the plastic on it. Most people use that. Some people do use this. I prefer this because it's already what I had, which is definitely a good thing. So that's I think those were the only two questions I had about hammers, but I did want to bring that. While I got some more people on the call, on the video here, we were talking about this. I bought one of those really inexpensive leatherworking sets a while back, and it had this thing on it. It was like one of those ones that are made overseas, and these points are a little bit too long, I think, to be like a stitching spacer. If anyone knows what this weird medieval torture tool is, definitely please let me know. I haven't had anyone chime in yet and say what it is, but I thought that was kind of funny. I wanted to bring that out again. Want to talk about J. Harvey 79er. What do I make for right on the mic. What do I make for gifts, and what can I make that people will use? Man, I'll tell you what. A leather belt, if you get someone a leather belt, that's really the coolest thing I think you can make them, especially as a beginner. They're not hard to make at all. You can buy the blanks online. And you go back in my videos. One of my oldest videos was a leather belt making video. I have all the links in there. If you get the person's size right, and if you measure from the start of the buckle, not the very end of it, but where it attaches to the leather, if you measure from there on their old belt to the hole that they use the most, that's their waist size that they use for their belt. So you could do the exact same thing on your belt. You can go right to that measurement. It doesn't have to be like, let's say 28 inches, 28 and a half inches. If it's 28 and 5/8, that's the optimal size for them, man, go with it. That's the cool thing about making your own stuff. And you can make your own belts to the exact measurement you want to, and then back it up for a couple of, for maybe like one hole, and bring like 3 or 4 holes forward, and then cut your end on it, and you're done. I mean, it's great, man. I think that I have this belt right here, and this belt has lasted me, I want to say I've had it like 3 years now. It's nothing special, guys. It's one that I made a while back, and it's lasted me forever. If I had bought something from Walmart or even a department store, I've never bought a belt on Amazon, so I don't know. Because since Amazon's been around, I've had some nice belts. But these things will last forever. It's great. So that's a great gift for somebody. You can also do, and I'll show you, I have a minimalist wallet that I make, which is nice. I actually stamped this one. This is one of the first ones I made. It's a minimalist wallet. You keep your cards in there, and it's got a slot in the back for your cash, which is really helpful. Different people use different types of wallets. Marking a pattern using carving. Okay. I'm gonna finish up about the wallet real thing, and then Jay, I really appreciate you chiming in to tell me what that tool is. But this minimalist wallet is great. A lot of people like the bifold or the trifold, or even like the long, like biker style wallets. We've gotten so far away from cash lately and using cards. I mean, even stores aren't even accepting cash at a lot of places. They only say cards only, no cash accepted at the self-service places, at the grocery store and Walmarts and places. But if you have cards, that's all you need. So cards, a little bit of cash. That's one thing I love about this wallet. So even if someone likes those other type of wallets, you can tell them, look, this is a lot less weight in your pocket. Give it a shot. See what you think about it. that's another great gift. And then there's always the strap keychain and the USB cable keeper and the dresser valet. Those are nice, quick presents to make for people. You can punch out 5 or 6 of those in like no time flat. Those are all fun. So if you're just joining us, again, we're talking about my next video is going to be the leather bug out bag. And we're going to answer your questions from the punch video. And we're also going to pick the winner for the leather punch giveaway. So, Anjay, the tool you showed and is as a seamstress, that is to mark a pattern using carbon paper. So you mark a pattern using carbon paper. I guess you could do that, but I prefer to use like a leather pen or a scratch-all. So I don't know why they would include this with a leather crafting set, but I could see where you take, like, if you had a long pattern, like we're running along the line at the bottom, you had a long pattern, you can roll the whole thing for like long patterns. Most of what I do is short patterns, but that would definitely be something cool. So I'm going to go on to my next set of questions. Thrifting Cowboy, he had a question. He asked about a badge holder for, like, Walker Texas Ranger or some type of Texas Ranger badge. Like, he wanted to make, like, I guess like the wallet where it opens up and has got the badge inside, or maybe just one like this that has the badge. I've never done that, and I don't know if it has the pin on the back, like the I like Ica buttons people used to wear, like right after World War II. There we go. Definitely a tracing pattern. So the badge holder, I've never done it, but I imagine if it's like one of those old buttons like that you used to be able to wear. People don't do it anymore because they put holes in all your clothes. But if you put like 2 holes there, you might be able to loop it through and keep it in there. Or if it's just like a single pin, maybe you just have a single hole and it slides in there. I don't know how it stays in place. Maybe you put something in there for it to lock into, but where it would get some bite. But that's definitely something you can do, which is a good thing. So Revan 33, the thinnest weight of leather for keychains. I'm glad you, and it's funny, I just pulled my belt off and pulled my wallet out, and now I'm going to pull my keys out because I do have this keychain that I made probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. It was one of the first things one of the first times I made this keychain, and it's just made with, it's just inexpensive, like chrome tan leather, but it's the strap keychain, and this is probably like 6 ounce. It's held up great. I use it almost every day. So that's probably 6 ounces, probably the last thing, the smallest weight I would use. But you do want some durability because you want it to last over the years. But this has held up remarkably well, even though it's only got like that little spot down at the bottom that holds it together. So I think 6 ounces is good for a leather keychain. I don't know if I'd go much thinner than that, 5-6 ounces. Now, Mongo's 5601, white type of conditioner and finish for veg tan. This is a great question for veg tan, because I do a lot of veg tan work, and I haven't really done much on the channel because it involves making the product and then showing the finish. And right now, with this whole beginner leathercraft thing, I just want to show people, get them excited about making the project. It's that quick, satisfying, I can make this, I can do this, look at these cool things I can do. And then now we're going to step it up and we're going to do something different. We're going to add a little bit more to it. So definitely see that in the coming year, maybe later this month, but definitely in 2023 we're going to see some of that. So veg tan, I prefer not to dye veg tan when I do it. I use Neat's Foot oil, and Neat's Foot oil is actually made from cows. It's an oil that's made from cows. So I think if it's made from cows and you put it with the leather, then that's probably a good blend. You're not going to have a whole lot of negative things that could happen there. But it's basically, I don't know if it's the fats that they melt down around in the ankles and stuff of the cow. That is what they use for veg. That's what I use for veg tan. And it works really well. You put it on, let it soak in, it gets a little darker. Put a little bit more on, let it soak in, it gets even darker than that. And then I take something called Tan Coat. It's made by Fibings. Tan Coat's what I use. I use an airbrush to put it on. I just do light coats. I have brushed it on before. I have wiped it on. You can do both of those, but I find it leaves streaks. I like airbrushing it because it leaves a nice even film across it, and I can spray it, let it dry for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, and spray it again and let it dry. And I'll do like 5 or 6 coats like that. So that's the way I prefer to do it. That's what I prefer to do with veg tan. There's a whole bunch of things out there that you can do with veg tan. Now, she suggested olive oil. She hasn't had issues with it because I asked him the question. I said, well, you use olive oil? And I was like, I wouldn't use anything that's actually like from a plant, because I've heard over time that olive oil can go rancid and it can stink. She said she hasn't had that problem, but I've always stayed away from it. Even as a woodworker, I was the cutting board king. I made tons of cutting boards and I sold tons of cutting boards. And I always told people to use mineral oil. Don't ever use olive oil or cooking oil because it can go rancid. So I'm gonna get to some of these questions. Let's see. Word Burning Warrior said, this is definitely the tracing patterns. I have a boatload of them. Yes, there's a latch and pin on the back. I found one at Hobby Lobby, and what is it called? A keyhole punch. A keyhole punch. So I'm gonna have to take a look and see what this keyhole punch, this keyhole punch you speak of. I must investigate it. This keyhole punch, I must investigate. Okay. Can you wood burn on veg tan? Man, you can wood burn on veg tan. That's funny because I had a company reach out to me. It was a company from overseas, and they said, hey, we want you to review our laser engraver. And I was like, that's cool, man, because I can do a laser engraver. It's got like maybe like a foot by foot, it looks like. And they say you can do paper and all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to do paper, but I am a woodworker. I've been doing woodworking for years, and I do leathercraft. So I'm gonna try laser engraving on a on leather, probably veg tan when I get it. And I imagine if I just do it on the dry veg tan, it would be better. And then I can end up soaking it in some neat's foot oil and darkening up, getting it to just how I like it. But we're going to try that out. And if you want to try it with your wood burning kit, I think you could probably do that, man. Something that would be cool is you make it like an old world map, like custom cut it, maybe like spray it with dyes, so it's like different colors, like darker around the edges, like it's old, and then draw like a map of the old world, or like a pirate map with, like our sea monsters over here, and here be treasure, something like that. That would look kind of cool. I wouldn't do anything silly like that. I would make it. I mean, it'd be kind of funny, but then it'd be a waste of a lot of leather and time. But it would be kind of funny to have something like that. So I know you really can't stamp oil tan. This is NJ, but there's anything you can do to dress it up. And I don't have a whole lot of experience with oil tan. I have stamped oil tan before, or maybe it was just it was veg tan that was dyed. It was something that I had already had. You can stamp it. Well, I was early on. I was doing that. I would buy some scraps, and they were already. They looked like veg tan, kind of, but some of them might have been oil tan. You could stamp some of that stuff. It's just not going to hold up. You can't really wet it is part of the problem. I would just stamp it. This is very early on. I would go like this and try to hit it as hard as I could to get that impression in there. And it came out okay. I think the real thing you could do with oil tan leather to dress it up is I would either try different colors and try like putting one on top of the other. So, you see some of it, try to do something cool with that, or something cool with the stitching. That would be kind of cool. But really, oil tan looks really cool on its own. I would not hesitate to make something out of oil tan and just leave it like it is. Maybe get like some foil treatment. I've never used it, but you can get some foil treatment and put it on there, some hot foil, and put like your logo or saying, just to class it up a little bit. Or sometimes that might not look classy, but depending on the piece, foil stamping, that's what it is. Or you could try burning it. Talk to our wood burning warrior. He could definitely help you get some stuff to wood burn it and tell you about that. But I'd kind of leave it like it is. If I really wanted something that was going to be tooled, I would use veg tan. I would dye it. I would use the finishes on it. I'd probably use antique on it because I love antique. I love the way when you stamp that pattern in there, you get that three-dimensional look with the antiquing, and then sealing on top. Man, that's cool stuff. I really like it. Oh, wood burning. My apologies. The wood burning warriors lady. Is like Xena, Princess Warrior. Xena. This is Xena, the wood burning Princess Warrior. So nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's cool. You cannot wood burn on dyed vegetarian because the chemicals, unless you wear a respirator. Yeah, that's probably a good point there too. You definitely don't want to be careful when you are burning. I mean, it's okay to catch some of the smells, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. No, I probably wouldn't. Probably a good idea to do it outside or wear a respirator. I have not always been captain safety over my time. When I was a woodworker, I planed down some barn wood with my planer, and I had the doors shut in my shop. You know, I was like tough guy. I'm like, I don't need hearing protection. Hearing protection's for the chumps. You know what I mean? And then guess what happened? I can't hear stuff now. My wife has to repeat stuff 300 times before I eventually can hear it. So that's no fun. Oh, you have leukemia, so that's why you're a warrior. That's awesome. That's awesome that you think of yourself as a warrior like that. I'm definitely anything the Big Stacks family can do to help you out. Please let us know. If you want to do the wood burning, if you want to do leather work, you tell us what you'd like to do. We'll help you do it. Post your pictures out there. I definitely want to see your stuff. I have a friend of mine who's also a customer where I work, good friend of mine, and I found out probably about probably a year or two ago he has leukemia. So he's been fighting through that, but it's definitely not a fun disease. It's pretty tough. So I salute you, definitely salute you. That's a tough thing. She is a warrior. I'm glad to see that. So let's get back to the questions real quick. I definitely want to do that. Let's see. Ron Roberts says, why is leather working so relaxing? Is it the smell or feel of the leather? I definitely think leather working's, any of those crafts are very relaxing. There's a study that's been done, and it hasn't been done for leather craft or any type of other crafting, but another big hobby of mine is motorcycling. And so you're getting out on the road and you're just relaxing, and people ask why you do it, and you can't explain it. Once you try it, you understand what it is. It's just, you zone out from life. Maybe your thoughts drift a little bit here and there, and you're just automatically doing stuff. You're becoming one with the bike. And there's actually a study that's been done with that, with motorcycling, that says those people, when they do it, it's very calming to them. It helps them center themselves. If someone has a stressful day, they will sometimes just go out and ride, and it calms them right down. I think working in your shop's the same way. Leather working, woodworking, whatever type of crafts that you make. If you make homemade soap, if you make edible Afghans by macrame Twizzlers, that's probably a very relaxing hobby as well. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. So anytime you have a hobby, I think it's relaxed, and it's so good to get in there and just de-stress, and you leave the world behind, and everything. You're like your own little god of this thing, and sometimes you can mess stuff up, and sometimes you make some really cool stuff. And if you mess something up and you learn from it, the next time you'll make something will be even better. And I think that's what's cool about it. It's relaxing and it's calming. So I really, really, really love getting in my shop and making stuff. That's my number one thing. It doesn't matter if it's woodworking, leatherworking. I just got a t-shirt printing kit. I'm going to try screen printing some t-shirts. I've never done that. Do some metal work. Just, I made that garden gate. It's getting out in my garden, doing the same thing, getting my hands in the dirt. It's just so relaxing. So that's definitely a fun thing right there. Okay, let's see. Wood burning warrior. Love that little green heart. I wood carved a horse ear today because a lady bought an old wood carved horse that had no ears. I mean, that's probably a good idea. Put some ears on it now, and that's a cool thing. I haven't done a whole lot of wood carving. I've tried it. When I do go to the cabin, I used to do that. I have a couple of wood carving knives, and what kind of wood is it? I forget. not balsam wood. It's whatever it is. There's a certain wood that you use. I've done some of that. I'm not very good at it though, so I need to play with it some more. But yeah, I'm Don Gibbs. I'm just getting started with leatherworking. I wanted to try it because I like making and working with my hands. See, exactly. That's where we're at again. Making stuff, working with your hands, so relaxing. It centers me. It calms me. It de-stresses me. It's the perfect thing. And then, I think if we did the study with people that made stuff, we did the same thing that they did with the motorcyclists, you would see that it's just so relaxing, so calming. You get to create, you get a sense of satisfaction when you're done. It's so awesome. I really like it. So Don Gibbs, yeah. Okay, we did him. And then Wood Burning Warrior. You know what? The lathe? Oh my God. So I had a table saw for a long time. I had a router. I had a miter saw. I had a bunch of hand tools, but the lathe is so much fun. You get in there, you get that piece of wood, and it just kind of takes off a mind of its own. And I find that when I'm making something, I have a rough idea of what I want to make sometimes. Sometimes I know exactly what I make, exact shape, exact size, and I turn a bunch of them out. Like I used to make hand crank pepper mills, and I knew it was like the perfect size for my hand. But sometimes I find that it's going to sound weird. It's just in the wood. Whatever you're making, you have an idea of what you want to make. You have a rough idea of the shape, but the wood tells you when you're cutting it what it's going to make. And it's really, if you put your hair up, it's just like leatherworking. It's just like other types of things, but wood turning is so much fun. Get in there and try it. If you guys would like to see some wood turning videos, I'd love to do some wood turning videos. I just know that there's so many wood turning videos out there. I don't know if I can be super original with mine, but I would definitely try. But I could do something like that if you're interested in it. Let's see. How much should I pay? Oh, hold on. Yeah, how much should I pay for leather? Jeff Saden, how much should you pay for leather? I don't know, man. There's you can get the Hobby Lobby scraps for like, I think they're $10 a bag, and then you can use a 40% check, wait till they're 40% off and get them for $6. So you can go all the way down to $6 and make stuff with that. And if you check back, I have one video out there in the past that said no leather working tools required for these projects. It's just basic stuff you already have. You could get, I don't know, like $5-10 a square foot. Probably $5-7 a square foot. One of my viewers told me you can get Springfield Leather has a membership you can get, and it's like $35 a year, but you get like the wholesale price on everything. And apparently that was really good price. I haven't looked into it because I have enough leather for what I want to do right now, but the next time I do buy some leather, I probably am going to do that. Let's see. With cash, yeah. And you're smart aleck like me, Ann. I love it. I like your style. Each place charges a different place. I'm a calligrapher. I want to turn calligraphy pens. That'd be awesome. I've never been a pen turner. I never found pen turning didn't appeal to me. I've done other things. I liked wine stoppers. I always thought making wine stoppers were fun, and I wanted to make wine stoppers out of like stone and some other cool stuff. So I haven't made one out of leather yet, but I probably should. But I did definitely turn a lot of wine stoppers back when I first got my lathe. That's what I started with. I live close to Springfield. Yeah, Ann lives close to Springfield. Ann, how is that leather from Springfield? A lot of people love it. That's really cool. Yes, yeah. Glass tip pen for Christmas. I don't know what a glass tip pen is, but it sounds pretty cool, man. Is that like a inkwell pen? I don't know. That's kind of cool. So let me get back to my questions. Just if you're just joining us, I did want to let you guys know. So this is what we're doing today. I did touch on the fact that I went to Harbor Freight and I pulled some stuff together for a bug out bag. I had bought an inexpensive leather working kit, like a starter kit online. I was really not pleased with it. And I think you can do better with just basic tools. So I went to Harbor Freight. I spent less than $40, guys, less than $40. And I got pretty much everything you're going to need to do some leather working. So that's going to be my next video I'm going to do. Might throw a project in there if time allows. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to answer the questions. I'm finishing those up right now, answering the questions from the punch review video. I totally wasted my money on these punches. Yeah, the one of it I kind of did, but I definitely ended up getting some good punches out of it. Those Alden punches were pretty sweet. And the last thing I'm going to do is pick the winner of the leather punch giveaway. We're getting close. We're getting close. It's going to be one of the questions that I have just answered, or one of the new questions that I have. So let's get back on it. Jerry Baker asked, DIY stitching pony video. Again, if you guys want a stitching pony video, I'd be more than happy to do it. But I got to do it big stack style, which is a lot different. Everyone has a stitching pony video, but I want a stitching pony with a purpose. I like to sit, watch TV, watch sports, watch movies, or maybe watch YouTube and hand stitch. So maybe I'll make one that I could sit and put under my legs to hold it, or under my feet to hold it while I'm sitting on my chair watching stuff. So there is a possibility I will be doing a stitching pony video. Eric's Cave. Using the drill press to sand edges and set rivets. You guys still hear me? We're still good? Okay. Using the drill press to sand edges and set rivets. Definitely you can sand edges with the drill press. You can chuck a drum in there. They do sell drums that have sandpaper sleeve fits over and it spins around. And you can sand, you know, if you glue two pieces up and then you want to make a stitching line, but first you want to even out the side, you can use it just like I use my disc sander and kind of just roll it against it a couple of times, and then you can use the drum sander. Or you could use it to drill out rivets like I've done in the past. Or drill stitching lines. If you set it on a high speed, you burnish those holes. You do not want to use, guys, I'm letting you know right now, don't use your drill presses to set rivets. It's a natural thing to think, okay, this thing comes down, this thing comes down. The thing is, and my drill press is from 1943. So I'm not going to do it with mine. But I wouldn't even do it with an expensive one, because when you're applying that force down, you want to set those rivets good. So you want to apply that force to it. You're going to end up bending your wheel on your drill press, or you're going to screw up the chuck or something like that, and that's not good. You're going to end up ruining the tool. They do sell, I think Weaver sells one called the Little Wonder. You can find them all over Amazon. They're like these little things you can set snaps and rivets with it, and has like interchangeable little heads on it, little anvils and little impression tools. So you can get something like that if you're looking for something kind of automatic. They're like $100 or something like that. I'm still too cheap to even go to that. Maybe one day, maybe if you guys want to see one, maybe I can get one day and try it out. But I'm still pretty cheap when it comes to that stuff. I just like to hand set it, and there's something about just like hand working. I love just working with my hands. I do use power tools to save time, especially if I'm making production stuff to sell. But if I'm just getting in there to relax, there's nothing better than just these two things right here. They're great. Hand tools and that, even woodworking. I do a lot of hand sawing too. It's just enjoy it. It's part of that relaxing. It's part of that stuff we talked about. So definitely drill presses, drum sander for sanding, drill presses for drilling out hardware, drill presses for stitching holes. Drill presses are not for setting rivets, guys. Please don't even try set snaps or rivets with drill presses. You're going to end up ruining your drill press. You're not going to be happy, and I won't be happy for you, because I want you to enjoy yourself. My job is to get you in your shop, and if you're going to do something like that, and then it's going to frustrate you, and then your little bit's going to wobble all around like this, it's going to be no fun. So, yeah, just, definitely drill presses is for drilling, maybe some edge sanding with not a lot of hard pushing, but I wouldn't go any further than that with it. There might be some other things you can do. If there's anything else you can do with the drill press, please definitely let me know. Let's see what else. Marcella Stull, she thought she was slick. She thought she was going to get one by on Big Stacks. And she says, if you were leaving a video to get the person's attention, what would you ask? And I guess that's a question. I was like, I said what you try to do, but I like your style. I like your style. You gotta be aggressive. Think outside the box. I had a question. Guillotine. Did I ever use a guillotine paper cutting for leather? I know, I mean, it's cool because it's got the measurements right on there. I use it for paper all the time, but never for leather. I don't think it's stout enough to hold up every time. Plus, it would be a pain in the butt to sharpen it. So let's see what questions you guys have out there. Planning on getting some remnants from the supply companies. Let's see. Oh, okay, here we go. I didn't like mine. It's a dip pen. My husband probably has all the stuff already. It won't be me. I invested C.S. Osborne for setting snaps and such. Interesting idea on drilling for stitching. I've used drill for conchos and belts. Yeah, the C.S. Osborne, I've used a couple of their tools, and man, they're nice tools. Some of the stuff's a little pricey, but you're getting stuff that's probably made by people who are probably, if they're not union, they're probably well taken care of. And the company's been around since sometime in the 1800s. So it's definitely good stuff. It's high quality stuff. It's one of those once in a lifetime I get to pass on down to the next generation tools, which is really, really cool, passing that stuff down, because I have some of my grandfather's stuff. I have some of my dad's stuff. So that's good stuff. The only thing is it can get expensive, and for a beginner, I would not suggest it for a beginner. Get some of the less expensive stuff, and I'm going to review some more stuff. I reviewed some of the punches. It was my favorite set of punches was a $10 set of punches. Please, that's awesome. That's a great thing right there. So let's go ahead and get to Maracuja. Punching stitching holes in a round piece. Okay, so she asked how to do stitching holes in a round piece of leather. So you got your round piece of leather, and if you have a pricking iron or your chisels, and obviously they're in a straight line. So what I would do is I would get it exactly the shape that you want it. Let me put it over here so you can see my face. I would get it the exact shape that I would want it, and then what I would do is I would take it and take an edge beveler, not edge beveler, I'm sorry, a divider, and mark a line for stitching. Then use a stitching spacer, and then punch or drill my holes in with that, and then you can stitch just fine. They'll come out perfectly. Just take your time with everything. It'll be good. And then if you screw up, then you know what? There's always more leather out there. The second one will be better, and if you don't get it by the third time, you'll get it by the fourth time. Don't worry about it. Just stick with it and enjoy it. Don't let it frustrate you, because leather working is supposed to be relaxing and calm, and just, you get out there, you smell the leather, get your hands on it. Your mind drifts away from everything else. You're focusing on how to solve this immediate problem. And when you're done, you got something really cool that you made. And, you might be using it for years to come. Like I've been using this for a long time. I've used my belt for a long time. But definitely it's just so peaceful. Get out there and make something. And if it doesn't work out the first time, don't worry. There's always the second time. If it doesn't work out the second time, learn from that. You'll probably get it the third time. I imagine so. So let me go back to some of these questions. Let's see. Make corsets. That's what I also needed. Let's see. Basswood. Basswood is the wood. You're right, Carol Scott. Thank you very much. Basswood is the wood that you use for carving. That's what I've used for carving. So let's go to Matt Brown. Matt Brown had an interesting question, and I wouldn't say I didn't know how to answer this, but I wish he would reach back out to me. I don't remember his number. Matt Brown, 5511. Please reach back out to me. He wanted to know about using his offhand for leather working. So I imagine you have your hammer or your mallet, and you're hitting punches. Well, Matt lost. It sounds like he lost his hand while he was in Afghanistan. And I do have a friend. He's a prosthetics maker. He's a customer of mine. He's a prosthetics maker, and we talked for a little while, and we came up with a couple of different ideas. So Matt Brown or anyone else, if you are forced to use, like you're normally right-handed, now you have to use your left hand because you don't have whatever in this hand anymore. Maybe you don't even have a hand there anymore. I want to solve this problem for you. I seriously do. Please contact me, someone. We came up with an awesome solution. We want to try it. I live in a big military area. I'm full support of the military. The people in it are very good people. Once you sign up, there's always that chance you're going to go away and something's going to happen to you. And the guys and gals that do come back, I definitely appreciate you and respect you. And if you can't use your primary hand anymore and you have to use your offhand, I want to help you do it. So please reach out to me. Matt Brown, please reach out to me. I want to help you use that offhand. We have the perfect idea on how to do it, but I just need you to reach out to me. And we'll get this done, man. We're going to do it just for you, man. Just for you, because we appreciate you and everything that you've done. So I've pretty much gone over the questions I wanted to see. Let me see if there's any others. You guys give me one more second to see if there's any other questions. Let's see. Let's see. We're wrapping this up. Almost done, but I do want to announce the winner. What's this? Oh, I got one. There's another question. This is from Tyler Go Lightly. Tyler wanted to know. He said that he feels that he can't keep a straight cut, and he has to muscle through the cuts. He's 190 pounds. Well, let me tell you what, Tyler. This body right here was not built overnight, and this right here was not built overnight. I'm 6'4" and I weigh like 270 about. So I definitely have a lot of heft in me too, and something that I've always had to learn, whether it was woodworking or leatherworking or anything that I'm working with, is let your blade do the work. If it's not doing the work, it's probably not sharp enough. Sharpen your blade. If you have an X-Acto style knife like you do, get a brand new blade. And the other thing you need to do, maybe if your blade is sharp and maybe you're going in and it's still not working, if you have a ruler, you want a steel ruler with the cork on the back. When it's got that cork on the back, it gets a nice grip and it won't slip around while you're cutting, and you'll get a nice straight line. So let me see if we have any other questions. One day I want to make a holster. Wood Burning Warrior, I've never made a holster. I definitely want to make one as well. Someone asked me what kind of leather I would use for a holster. I said shoulder leather, and I've never made one before though. I forgot what thickness I said. It might have been. Let me see. I know I put it in here. I answered it, but I'd use the same thing I use for knives, and I use like I get a couple double shoulders, and that's some real heavy duty stuff, and it's like 10 ounce, I want to say, somewhere around there, and maybe a little bit less than that. It's probably about 10 ounce, and that makes some nice heavy duty sheaths. Regarding leather paint, you paint on top of the leather dye or dye around the decorative punch? No, you definitely. So Ward Rhodes, this is what you do with that. And I haven't done leather painting, but I've talked to people that have done it, and I've watched videos on it. I do have some paints. So you take your leather and you tool it. You get it exactly like you want it. Okay. You let it dry, then you condition it, and you or I condition it with Neat's Foot Oil, and then I will put dye first, then condition, dye, condition. If I want to put an antique on there, I'll put that on there. You seal it, and then you put then you can paint it, and you can even put antiquing over the paint after the paint dries. You want to condition it and seal it before you put the paint on, so your paint doesn't mix in with your dye. When you dye it, you're dyeing the whole thing. There's no getting around that. Sometimes you can stamp areas and drop a little dye in those recessed areas. If you do it strategically, you can get the dye in there, and it's not going to come out. To go like a black on brown or a dark brown on a light brown. But definitely, you want to seal it before you paint it. Dye it, seal it, then paint it. So I'm gonna let you guys know who my favorite question was. Let me see. I think it was Ron Burns. Ron Roberts. So Ron Roberts, 7297. You were my favorite question, and because it's just so much about what happens in your shop is why is leather working relaxing, and I've had people make comments on it. I've had people tell me, you know, they've never done leatherworking. They watch my videos. They wanted to thank me because they got started, which I think is really cool. That's the reason I started Big Stack Small Workshop, is to get people in the shop. And if they're not in the shop, at the craft table, wherever, just off the TV, off the couch, doing something fun, doing something relaxing, doing something that's all you. And that's the reason I decided to do that. So Ron Roberts, you are the winner. You contact me. I'm going to drop a note inside the comment that you made. Say, contact me. You're the winner of the punch sets. I want to thank everyone so much. I'm going to have more contests coming up, so definitely stay tuned. And like I said, my next video is about that bug out bag. So, you know, you go camping, you go somewhere for the holidays, and you just want to take a little bag with you to do some work. That's the perfect thing to do right there. So I want to appreciate everyone coming out. I'm going to do more other things in the future, but I'm definitely sticking to leatherworking for right now. But I am going to do woodworking, some other small shop things, and back to gardening when it warms up. Because remember, Big Stacks builds, Big Stacks grows, and Big Stacks makes. So I appreciate everyone for coming out. Any last questions before I leave? I have lamb's leather, very thin. Any ideas? You know, I've got some lamb's leather too that someone gave me. Haven't done a thing with them. A big thing with the lambs or goat skin is gloves. So you can try making some gloves with it. I've never done it. I don't know how it would happen, but, you know, give it a shot. See, there's other videos out there. If nothing else, go out in your shop and try it. If it looks like garbage, just tell people you were making your, you had started a Freddy Krueger glove for Halloween and, you know, just hadn't found the knives yet. Let's see, anything else. Where do I get the leather from? I get my leather from Hobby Lobby or Tandy or Weaver Leather. Someone suggested Springfield Leather, that I can spend $35 and then I will be able to get the wholesale rate. It's like a $35 yearly membership. So I'm thinking about, I'm going to try that too. There's a bunch of resources out there. You know, someone did bring up something cool, and I'm gonna say this real quick. They were talking about hunters and that the hunters take the leather and they tan it. And I was like, what are you talking about, hunters? Because where I'm at, there's a lot of hunters around me, and I mean, we always want the back strap because that's the best part of the deer, is mainly what we get here. But they said no. A lot of this is on Native American lands. The Native American hunters will take it and process the hides, and they said they get some really cool leathers. So if anyone out there is getting some of that stuff, definitely let me know. I'd like to find out how to get some of that. That sounds like it's really cool. There's all different kinds of places to get leathers. But you know, you can go anywhere from your local craft store and get scraps to get started. And then when you get more confident, then you upgrade to go to Tandy or Weaver or some of these leather specialties. There's was it Wicked and Craig or Horween? You can get all different kinds of things. And Jay, who is right next to Springfield, says she has Springfield has great leather. She was like a Tony the Tiger great. You know what I mean? Like, great. So that's good. Lamb works for wallet pockets for one. Okay, awesome. Well, is there any other questions that you guys have for me? I don't want to hop off here without answering all of your questions. But I do want to, probably not going to start tonight on the bug out bag. I might kind of frame up my ideas for it. I have them in my head, but I want to put them on paper. Yeah, Carol Scott, you are awesome, Carol Scott. You have a lot of information. You have a lot of information you've been sharing, Carol Scott. I really do appreciate that. And the Wood Burning Warrior too. I also appreciate you. And Thrifting Cowboy, your name was coming up next. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I enjoy having you guys on the channel and seeing your comments and your questions. It's really something that's very exciting for me. Ward Rhodes. Yeah, man, I've seen you on there too. I think you've commented on there before. Thank you too, brother. You ride, man? You ride? Is it brother like shop brother, or like you ride motorcycles, or just cool, like we're all brothers, man? Because I think it's cool. We all live on this planet. We be kind to one another, love each other, and someone cuts you off in traffic, give them the finger, and then move on with the rest of your day. So you guys take care, and I will see you next time on Big Stacks Small Workshop.